And you, Bill?
You are there almost every day at the briefings. I see you once in a while, and when I get there myself. And we have a lot of new faces now that we're going to be seeing in the White House briefing room, at least two of them. And Sean Spicer no longer. So I want to start with our little playback of our Sean Spicer tribute today. Jamie Benson put this together. Here is Sean Spicer as we've come to know and love him over the last 6 months.
How are you today?
I'm fine, and how are you?
Fantastic. This was the largest audience to ever witness an inauguration, period. There's this assumption in Washington, Jonathan, that if you get less money, it's a cut. And I think that the reality is that in a lot of these, there's efficiencies, duplicity. Glenn, this isn't a TV program. We're going to... Shannon, okay, you don't get to just yell out questions. We're going to raise our hand like big boys and girls.
Go, Glenn Thrush, New York Times, boo, go ahead.
That's a cute question to ask. My job is to represent the president. I think there's pretty sound evidence that that the microwave is not a sound way of surveilling someone. You used chemical weapons in World War II. You had someone as despicable as Hitler, who didn't even sink to using chemical weapons.
Hey, Sean!
Sean!
Right here. So you can keep taking your selfies and selfie folks.
Yep. I'm right here, he says. That was a couple of weeks ago.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Should we feel sorry for Sean Spicer?
I don't feel particularly sorry for him, honestly. I mean, it's on one hand, he had an impossible job, I think, and I think it's a very difficult job to represent Donald Trump as president, because he's always going to issue tweets and peculiar statements that will undercut a communications strategy. On the other hand, he knew that going in. Nobody had a gun to his head, so it's a voluntary thing. And Sean Spicer is one of those people who I think clearly before President Trump won the election would have had very real skepticism about him, and then decided to take the job and go into that administration. And the other reason I don't feel sorry for him, which came out in the tribute that Jamie put together, was this tendency to say things like it's the largest inauguration crowd ever. A lie. I mean, there's no point in glossing over that. It was he came out on the first day and lied in a way that was, the lie was provable or was easily revealed by the photographic evidence. So
yeah, and there's so many things that Donald Trump says President Obama wiretapped to Trump Tower. Sean Spicer defended that. Donald Trump says 3 to 5 million people voted illegally for Hillary Clinton.
Right.
Sean Spicer defends that. So he went right down the line. Yeah. Now, so isn't it interesting that after all of those humiliations, and by the way, I'm sure you saw, I did, where there were times in the briefing where somebody would pop in with a little note from the president and walk up to the podium and hand it to Spicer. Talk about, again, a humiliation. But he put up with all of that, and the one thing that where he felt crossed the line
was a personnel matter.
Was in hiring Scaramucci.
Right.
Isn't that strange that was the one thing that the straw that broke the camel's back? So
it is, and I think it points to perhaps the bargain that people make with themselves, assuming they're not outright Trump loyalists, which is this idea that, yes, we can push all these peculiar or on occasions just untrue claims the president makes, but we can't be personally undercut by other people coming in. In the case of Scaramucci would have been above Spicer in the pecking order.
Yeah.
And that seems to be the real issue there, and that seems to be why there was such pushback from Spicer and others, including Reince Priebus by all accounts, but that Spicer felt he could no longer continue in his job at that point.
All right.